After the success of the first film, it was inevitable there would be a sequel, so I present a look at Friday the 13th Part 2, the first of many films featuring Jason taking center stage. The film, directed by Steve Miner, was another easy hit, grossing about $21 million on a budget of $1,250,000. Not a critical darling, it was another step in cementing the franchise's status in pop culture horror landscape, so let's open it up and get started. We open on Jason emerging from Crystal Lake, and apparently he wears these superstars. Nice. Way slicker than the initial mask he wears, which reminds me of Leatherface by way of Charlie Brown's ghost costume. Trust me, we'll talk next time. Elsewhere, Alice, played by Adrienne King, has been hospitalized, shaken from the events of the last movie. 2 months have passed since then, and there are still talks reopening Camp Crystal Lake. What could possibly go wrong? I'll also point out that King reportedly had issues with stalkers, which actually adds to horror Jason pursuing her. While this has often been disputed, it would not surprise me if it is true that Adrienne King only signed on a reprise role on the condition that her character Alice was killed off, hence a new crop of victims in each movie. That said, we get more than a few flashbacks to the first. I don't mind a little acknowledgement of prior events, but it does mainly get a bit much. Much like Halloween before it, though, I do like how they mix the ending in the first one here. Ralph, played by Wolf Gorney, is also back. Typical. No one ever listens to Crazy Mountain Man, especially when it turns out he's right about the camp being a death trap. Speaking of which, here's a parade of fresh meat. Terry, played by Kristen Baker, Paul, played by John Fury, Jeff, played by Bill Randolph, Sandra, played by Marta Kober, Ginny, played by Amy Steele, and Ted, played by Stu Champ. They're told they're at a camp counselor training center, but that's shorthand for killing floor. There's also lines about bear country and claiming that the camp is starting to look like a Burger King. I don't know. It'll look like Camp Pretenders waiting to happen. As night falls, of course Jason is subject of their campfire story. You know, between this and the point of view camera work, I actually rather like this. Definitely give Miner credit for trying to build up atmosphere when it's the first time Jason's the bad guy. Of course, still little tales of 1981 vintage, least of all the counselor's LCD handheld game. Hey, I just something before the Game Boy was around. As Paul and Ginny embrace, it turns out Ralph is an ex-victim. He's only one as in the first or last in the Crazy Mountain Man was right archetype, but he is one that still gets homage and spooked even today. The authorities find the counselors, tells the camp is condemned, but as for his threat to take them into custody, yeah, he's already dead. Even seeing this on AMC Fear Fest, I knew it was the first of many times I watched this. Sure enough, Deputy Winslow, played by Jack Marks, is killed in his next scene. Figures. If the nasty outhouse doesn't get you, the slasher with the blade will. 10 minutes shy of the 1 hour mark, Jason makes another kill. It turns out that he has two body doubles for his first time out on the prowl. Warrington, Gillette unmasked, and Steve Deskowitz behind the mask. But keeping track of his doubles as I view more of these movies, count on that. Back at the camp, Mark, played by Tom McBride, is next to die. He's wheelchair bound, so nice to know that Jason needs to go opportunity killer. Jeff and Sandra are next, and of course when they're in bed together and they get skewered. One by one, the other counselors start dropping like flies, until only Paul and Ginny remain. I'm also glad the dog is okay, even though it seemed like he bought it before. Ginny is hospitalized, but it's not clear whether or not Paul is dead. We close on Jason disappearing in the night, with his mother Pamela being the latest addition to his trophies. Gotta say, always love seeing old school prop look like that. As the first of many films where Jason is the big bad, it does a good job at establishing his legacy among horror icons. It holds up a lot better than one might think, actually, and as you can imagine, it holds a place in my heart as it does generations of fans. Not my favorite installment by any means, but it's always welcome in an annual Halloween tradition. Final rating is 3 stars out of 4. Next up, 1982's Friday the 13th, Part 3. See y'all again real soon.